On March 21st, there's a new moon in Aries, and just the day before, the sun went into Aries, marking the first day of spring. Also, in 2 days, Pluto goes into Aquarius, where it hasn't been since 1777. And so this is all about new beginnings. And what does that mean for you? That's what we're going to talk about. Hi everyone, I'm Donna Stellhorn, your practical astrologer, and today we are talking about the new moon. It's on March 21st at 0 degrees of Aries. We're going to do a short overview and then we're going to go sign by sign. So after weeks and weeks of talking about endings, finally we have a new beginning. And that's because this new moon is at 0 degrees of Aries, and it's corresponding with the first day of spring. So if you're listening to this before March 21st, it's a good idea to look around and see what you want to finish, because starting on March 21st, we have lots of new beginning energy. So March 20th marks the time where the sun ingresses into Aries, and that marks the first day of the astrological year. That is the first day of spring. And this new moon is soon enough that it is also at 0, sitting on that 0 degree sun. So we have double new energy. Now, 0 degrees is actually one of the critical degrees, and that means the energy is more intense than a lot of the other degrees. In fact, technically, there's only 3 critical degrees. That's 0, 29, and sometimes we consider 15 as a critical degree. So the 0 degree energy is like having the potential to take 10,000 different roads. It is like having the potential to do any different direction that you want. So it's kind of like you're holding the egg of potentiality right there, like a 0, like it's an egg you can hold. But the problem is that sometimes more choice is not great. So when I talk about a 0 degree, any planet, and specifically talking about it right here, it's kind of like you're in a donut shop, and this donut shop sells 1,000 different kinds of donuts. And so you're looking and scanning through all the different donuts that are possibilities to have. But behind you is a line, and that line goes out the door and out onto the street of all these people waiting to choose their donut. And so you're looking, but the crowd behind you is pressing forward, and so you have to make a decision, and so you look and look and look, and then you just say, oh, just give me what I had yesterday. And so what happens is that you have unlimited choice, but the tendency is to choose something you've chosen before. So in this first day of spring, new moon energy, we want to choose something that's not only new, but different. And you would think that new is always different, but instead of just planting the same old seeds, we want to plant a new seed. So over the next 2 weeks, think about what you can do that's new. And that's anything from trying a new food to taking a different route to work, trying a different toothpaste, wearing something you've never worn before, do something new. And of course, if you can do something that's big, like look for a new job, or, consider buying a house, or finding, like you want to do a different lifestyle, all of that is really good. But if you can't, like if your life is not right now at a point where you want to make a major change, plant some seeds by doing smaller things, new things. Now, of course, Saturn is in Pisces now, and I did a whole video on that, so I'm going to put a link to that in the description. And then Pluto will be going into Aquarius in 2 days on March 23rd. Now, Pluto is such a slow-moving planet, it is very difficult for us to see how this is really going to unfold over this 20-year transit through Aquarius. So we can make some estimations, but it's not really until Pluto gets to that critical degree of 15 that we're really going to see how this energy unfolds. But we do have some hints. So the last time Pluto went into Aquarius was in 1777. So this was 1 year after the Declaration of Independence was signed in the United States, and the American Revolution was going on in full force. There was really a strong desire for independence. Also in 1777, Vermont broke away from New York and became an independent country. I know, isn't that amazing? And it stayed an independent country until 1791. They also in 1777 signed a declaration to abolish slavery. So that's amazing for Vermont. 1777 was also when the Stars and Stripes as a flag was adopted by the United States. So the symbol of the United States was then adopted. So the thing to remember in all of this and all the stuff that you're hearing about what's happening in the future is to remember our ability to adapt. As new circumstances come up, we adapt, we change, we adjust. And if you're capable of doing that and doing it easily, you can have, the world's your oyster, basically. So it is our ability to adapt that causes us to be able to weather the storm, to learn from, the adversities that come in. And then when the weather's calm again, when the weather is fine, then we can prosper, because then we can plant and grow things and make things happen. So always look at, instead of trying to hold on and say, I don't want to change and I don't like, this new thing or that new thing, to say, all right, things are changing, and that, you've adapted in the past, and if you adapt in the present and in the future, you can do very, very well. So that's really, and it's a lot about what Pluto is anyway. And then when we add in that Aquarian energy of change and, technology and community and looking at the future and being forward thinking, we really can usher in a great future. So this is going to, though, take a lot of us planting new seeds and learning to adapt when circumstances change. So if you're listening to this before the new moon, we have an interesting date coming up, and that is March 16th. At that point, Mars is crossing the point where it went retrograde back months ago. It's going to be at 25 Gemini, and at the same time, it's going to make a square to Neptune, Mercury, and the Sun, all at 29 Pisces. Now, the energy here, that's a very interesting energy, because now we're in new territory, finally. So now we have the signal that something new is happening. Then a few days later, Mars will go into Cancer. Now, I know that oftentimes we think of Cancer as being a sign of nurturing and love and home and family, but when we add Mars into that, which is a very aggressive sign, we get some sort of energy of loving home and family, so much so that you're willing to fight for that. And so that combination, which is quite martial energy, can mean that there is combative energy around you and, of course, in the world. And so we may see conflicts heat up around the world. Okay, and then completely off topic, I have some video courses out. I have a course on reading the tarot that I highly recommend. Also, I have a new mini course on the flying star, and that covers both 2023 and 2024. The links are in the description. Now, in this video, we are doing tropical Western astrology. You want to listen to your rising sign as well as your sun sign. So your rising sign is going to tell you more about what's happening during this 2-week period, and your sun sign will tell you about different lessons that you could be learning or how you can grow. And if you want to know more details about what's coming up for you, I do readings. I also write monthly and weekly columns for horoscope.com and astrology.com. And if you need a copy of your chart, there's a link in the description. You can send me your birth information and I'll send you a PDF. And I want to thank you so much for continuing to watch these videos and supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. And so let's go sign by sign. Okay, Aries, you guys are doing this new moon. Well, this is your new moon. And so this new moon begins your new lunar year. And so this is going to be a well, this is a new moon in your own sign. And so this gives you about a month to plant new seeds, etc. And of course, if you listen to the opening, that's all we were talking about. So this goes doubly for you. You need to look at what you can start that is brand new, to do something different. And this is really centered in your first house. So this is about your physical self. And so how are you taking care of your body? What can you do new there? This is how you present yourself to the world. And so what it is that you wear, changing your style or, just shifting things. So maybe there's more attention on you through color or style. And this also has a lot to do with relationships. And so, going out and meeting new people, getting into new community, things like that, that is very helpful. But a lot of this still comes back to you, and that is how you feel about yourself, letting go of negative thoughts, letting go of self-sabotaging actions, things like that, so that you can be clear and just move forward. Now, Saturn is going to go through your 12th house now for about 3 years. So this is about creating a structure around your spirituality. And that pretty much means that if you have a spiritual practice, such as meditation or journaling or prayer, maybe get it on your schedule. Maybe do something where you are really disciplined about it. That is this, and we're going to be talking about this transit for a while. So, but that's what to look at right out of the gate. So, and then Pluto is got just a little, like a couple of days, and then it's going to go into your 11th house. As we said in the opening, it will back out into your house of career again this year. But as it shifts into your 11th house, which is community, technology, friendships, it's time to start to look at how you can revamp that. And that is, the groups that you belong to, or maybe you don't belong to any groups. And so now it's time to get involved. Or maybe you're looking at the group that you are involved in, but you're thinking that the trajectory of the group is not the direction you want to go anymore. This is about, looking at what you need in technology and getting up to speed. And of course, this is a 20-year aspect, so you don't have to do all this in the next 2 weeks. So it's just some things to think about. But I think probably the most useful thing would be to start to look at your long-term goals and, ask yourself where you want to be in 5 years or 10 years or specifically 20 years when this Pluto finishes this trip through Aquarius. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, the sun is making a square to Mars. So that is a lot of energy and activity when it comes to new love. That is perfect because you are in this period of time where you can have new relationships, you can, create new connections. And so you really want to actively work on this. This is an out of sign square, and so it's not necessarily the most obvious. So if, you think normally I'll just go online and find someone, maybe instead look around your neighborhood and see if you can be in social situations where you can meet someone new. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, Venus is not making an aspect with Mars. So there is a lot more focus on you and what you're doing rather than on your partner. And so it's possible that they're focused on you, unless they're Aries too. But this is a time for you to look at how you're interacting with others versus, waiting for somebody to interact with you. It is also that if you're in an established relationship, tell your partner that you need to work on you need to do some new things, and let them support you in this. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from that Venus, which is sitting right with the North Node. So any spending that you're doing is you're telling yourself that this is in line with your life path, that this is meant to be. So make sure that that's true, that it's not some marketing thing that you're, like you wanted this and now it's on sale and all of that. And that's why you're moving forward on it. So be aware that if something is in line with your goals, especially your long-term goals, then this could be a sign this time that you should move forward. But if this was more of a whim, an impulse, and then suddenly you're saying, well, I didn't expect it to be on sale, and so I'm going to go forward. Because Venus here in this placement can get a little spendy. So be aware that you want to be purchasing things that are in line with your long-term goals. But otherwise, when it comes to your money, this is all about a sense of deserving, a sense of worthiness. You have, 4 planets in your house of confidence and 2 planets in your house of self-esteem. And so this is, stepping up your game, raising the bar, because those are the things that build confidence and self-esteem. And so looking at those issues, that's going to clear the way to make more money. Now, when it comes to money from your business or from your investments, Venus is making a square to Pluto. And so there is a very strong chance that you'll be making more money than usual over this 2-week period. Now, this is an out-of-sign square, and so it's the source of the money is not as obvious as it could be. So you might have to dig a little bit to see the value. It's possible that like a customer sent you an email, but it's already been buried in your inbox and you missed it. So go look for that. There might be some investment opportunity that was mentioned to you, and now you need to, look it over and pursue it. So there are some great money-making opportunities for you, but you do have to do a little effort to find them. Now, when it comes to your money derived from career, so that would be like a paycheck, Venus is not making an aspect with Uranus yet, but it is going to get closer and closer over this 2-week period, and it's going to line up very, very soon. So this is a good time to plant the seeds, to talk to your supervisor, to say, let's sit down and have a meeting. If they put you off, that's okay, because once that meeting is set, all of this is in motion. But of course, this is a seed planting time for you, so go plant that seed with the manager saying, I want to talk about how I can make more money here, what I need to do, or when this can happen. And so this energy, even though it's not lined up for this new moon, it is getting closer by the day. Okay, Taurus, you guys are doing this new moon in your house of spirituality, intuition, this area of life where you can look at your shadow self, where you can really go through and see what's been happening over this last 12-month period and what's worked in your life, what hasn't worked. And so, I'm really stumbling over my words today. So this is your 12th house. And this is the month before you start your new lunar year. And so think of this as the very last point of winter in the cycle of the farm. This is where you maybe are starting little seeds inside in a protected way. You can't plant them yet. Look at, all the new things that you can do in the area of planning and talking to people and figuring out how you're going to move forward on things. That's a really good way to use this energy. Also, to do new things around spirituality, to set up spiritual practices for yourself, to, think about meditating every day, or, walking in nature and incorporating prayer with that, or doing some sort of yoga or Tai Chi practice where there's movement involved. So anything like this where you can bring spirituality into your life on a daily basis could be really helpful this time and set up something that lasts. Now, Saturn's gone into Pisces, and it started this journey through your 11th house, and it's going to be there for about 3 years. And so this is going to be where you are challenged to kind of up your game when it comes to the community. And so that means community involvement, maybe, like volunteering to help with fundraisers for a charity, or taking a board member position for a professional organization. This is about getting serious about friendships as well, and making the effort to, in which it takes an effort to have a friend. It takes time there's ups and downs, especially in the beginning. And so to make that effort, this is also about technology and, figuring out what you need in the vast world of technology and then becoming good at those things. It's not necessary when we look at technology to say we need to know everything, where that would be kind of like saying we're going to learn French and we're going to do it by memorizing a dictionary. And so we don't need to do that, but we may need certain phrases in France when we're traveling. And so that's what this is about, precisely figuring out what it is that you need and then, becoming a master at that. I mean, that's what Saturn wants. Saturn wants mastery. So again, this is a 3-year aspect, so you don't have to do all of this in the next 2 weeks. Now, Pluto is going into your house of career, and so this is a 20-year aspect. So but over the course of the 20 years, this is transforming your reputation, how you're seen in the world, your career in general. Now, whether that starts at the beginning of this transit this year or unfolds over many years, that's going to be more based on your chart. But there are going to be opportunities even as early as this year for some sort of change. So you get to watch for that. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, Mercury is making an exact semi-sextile to Venus. So the semi-sextile, we've talked about it on this channel many times, that's the little rock in your shoe. That's the little detail that you have to pay attention to so that you can move forward. And so thinking about that, find out what is the little obstacle that is stopping you from going out and meeting someone. What is the small thing? You might say, well, I don't have anything to wear, or I'm not sure where we could meet, or, there's some sort of detail that is holding back this process. And once you find that, you'll be able to deal with it. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, Venus is making a square to Pluto. Now, it's an out-of-sign square. And so that means that if you look, there is really an opportunity to work out something in this relationship. If you're not paying attention to it, it's possible that you're going to have some sort of conflict, but it's an old conflict. It's just the usual thing, some sort of irritation that's happened before. But if you look deeper, this time you can see the cause of this irritation, of like why it's bugging you or why they keep doing it, or both. And this could help you unravel this puzzle. Unravel this knot, or complete this puzzle. Very mixed metaphors. So this square is very active, especially as Pluto, this is out of sign just in this chart. So in the course of this 2-week period, it's going to become in sign, and then it appears, the opportunity to fix this problem will become apparent. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from that Mercury that is in your 12th house of spirituality. That is that the ideas and the information that you need and the reason you feel blocked and all of that is there. The universe has that information, and you need to find a place to be quiet and to ask, what is the message? And then the message could come in a dream. It could be the next video you click on, but actively be looking for the message. Like ask the universe to ring a little bell in your head to say, ding, ding, here is the message. So this could be a breakthrough that you have that changes everything. Because this is coupled with all of this brand new energy. This could be something you never considered before, and suddenly you're inspired. You have the reason that you've been holding yourself back, or you have the idea of how to put something together to go forward. Now, when it comes to money derived from your business or from investments, Mercury's not making an aspect with Jupiter, and they're both in the 12th house. So it feels like you're waiting for something. Now, in investments, of course, you might be waiting for the market to settle down or the price to go up or some other thing to happen that will help you then say, okay, now it's time to collect some profits. It's possible here that maybe you're reworking some infrastructure of your business, back office stuff, or you're reworking your marketing and stuff hasn't been launched yet. So it's possible that you are investing more in your business right now than you're actually receiving. And so you might have a little cash flow deficit going on with business, but it's all going to a good cause. So I feel like you are setting the foundation for something stronger in the future. But right now you're making either the same as usual or a little less than usual because you're investing in your business. Now, when it comes to money derived from your career, that's like a paycheck. So the Mercury is not making an aspect with Neptune, and Mercury is hidden. And so the energy is that either you are not in the office, and so the boss isn't seeing you, the boss is away, there's something holding this back. This is not going to be forever. Just this next 2 weeks, this is not a great time to be asking for a raise. It doesn't look like you would receive what you're looking for. And so there's no reason to do something when it's not lining up, because it's going to line up in the future. Right now, this is more, like if you needed more time off or something like that, you could probably get it. But actually getting more money is challenging at this time. Okay, Gemini, you guys are doing this new moon and all of this new energy in your house of friendships, community, also technology, and the future. And so when we look at the future, that is, you might want to pull out your old goal lists and look at your vision board and see if you haven't just changed your mind about things. Maybe some of the places that you have on there you've already been to, or you've decided you don't want to go there. Some of the goals that you had, maybe your priorities have shifted, and so you want to make some adjustments on that. When it comes to friendships and community, there are so many opportunities now, and that is, it's time to get involved again. It's time to be out there and connecting with people. And so there are going to be lots of friendship opportunities. So meet the friends of your friends, go to new groups. You may look at even, getting really involved in a group, being part of, whatever it is that the group needs to put the group together and to keep it running. Organizer, that's the word for it. So look at things like that. This is also about technology. And so there's some sort of new technology that you're needing to learn, some maybe new software for work, or maybe one of your hobbies. Maybe you're excited about all the AI stuff and you want to get involved in that. So new opportunities that way as well. Now, Saturn has crossed into your 10th house. And so there is a strong possibility that over this 3-year transit, there's going to be some changes in your career. It's possible that you are a little ahead of the game and you've already made the change. That can happen. But in the course of the 3 years, you may do another change. Now, some of this is saying to get serious about your career, to lean in. And if you're in a career that you wouldn't possibly get serious about, then you need to find that hobby that's going to make you money, or that calling that you have, something that you will be serious about, even if it's not ready to take over as your main income producer. So this, Saturn is about achieving a level of expertise through practice and hard work, and that is going through a career. And so this is your opportunity to become an authority in your field, or an authority at what you want to do. Now, Pluto is going to do its 20-year transit through your house of beliefs and faith, as well as travel, education, and legal matters. So over the next 20 years, that is a really long time, there are going to be opportunities in these areas. So if you have wanted to travel, there might be a trip over when Pluto gets into Aquarius in a couple of days. There could be something that unfolds over the next few months. Education opportunities are going to be available to you. So that it's a good idea to look for loans and grants and things like that for maybe future years of studying. This is going to, over a 20-year period, transform your faith and your beliefs. And that means that you can become closer spiritually to God and the universe, that you can believe in yourself, or that you can have things that you truly, believe in. And so, but Pluto is a slow-moving planet, and so don't expect all of this in the next month or two. Expect this to unfold over time. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, Mercury is making an exact semi-sextile with Venus, which says there is a love opportunity out there for you, but there's something that's tripping you up. Now, I've talked about semi-sextiles on this channel many times. This is the rock in your shoe. This is the little detail that if you can just take care of this, then you can achieve your goal. But if you don't focus on this little rock is going to make the whole hike terrible. And so you want to look at what the small things are. What is the small resistance that you have towards maybe meeting someone new? Or what is the impediment on their side that is causing them to say, oh, you know what, not yet, because you can deal with that small detail and then move things forward. Now, when it comes to your existing love relationship, Mercury is not making an aspect with Jupiter. There's much more of a focus outward into the community this time. There's no planets in your 7th house. Mars will be very soon leaving your 1st house, and so these are going to be empty houses for a little bit. And so that is your love relationship is just going on as it usually has. If you're doing anything together, you're going out as a couple, but to meet other couples or to meet the community. So you're doing, not so much, working on your own relationship. So, and that's the way it should be right now. You need to be getting out into the bigger world and let your love relationship just be for now. Now, when it comes to friendships, you have a house that has the Sun, Moon, Mercury, Chiron, and Jupiter. That's a lot. All of these are good. Chiron is the only difficult one. Chiron is the wounded healer. And that is that the wounds that you have, you're the one who can heal those. So that means if you've had difficult friendships in the past, then it is up to you to be aware that, when you're choosing your friends, to not go into that same cycle, to not choose the same type of person. So, but the Sun, Moon, Mercury, and Jupiter are all fantastic. So this is many, many opportunities to meet someone. And did I say already that Mercury is making a square to Mars? It's an out of sign square. So this is finding friends in unusual places or not where you would expect. So if you think, oh, I'll just go to church to meet someone, or I'll go to my writing group, this says go into new communities, go into something new, and that's where you're going to find these friends. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from the moon, which is doing this new energy. So new ideas could be coming to you. You really should write these down because you're going to get more ideas than you know what to do with. Mars will very soon go through your house of money. We'll be talking about that for several weeks, about all of these different money opportunities that you're going to have. Some of these will be too new to take hold of over this next 2 weeks, but they are going to unfold over the next couple of months. Now, this is also this new moon in your house of money derived from career. So that's an opportunity. We'll talk about that in a few seconds. But this is mostly about looking at what the community is, like what direction, what's the trends, what's the trajectory of the people that you know, or just where you see society going, and thinking in terms of where are the money-making opportunities around that. That's what this new moon is for. Now, when it comes to income from business or from your investments, the moon's making a semi-sextile to Saturn. So here's that semi-sextile energy again, the rock in your shoe. What is the small things that you need to do to gain the profits? And so this can be, like sifting through your emails to find if you missed any customers who had questions about ordering. This is about looking at your investments and seeing, do you need to diversify right now? Should, is something going up when the rest of the portfolio is not doing so well? So what do you need to pay attention to? This is, and what's irritating you? This is a rock in your shoe. So it's the thing that is kind of ruining the hike. What is the thing that is that's causing a problem, and then what are the steps you can do to fix it. That's what's going to make you more money over this next 2 weeks. And then when it comes to money derived from career, as I said before, this house is chock full. There is so many opportunities, plus the moon is making an out-of-sign square with Mars. So an out-of-sign square means it's not quite as direct as you might like. So you might go to your supervisor and say, I want a raise, and they say, oh, well, I want to go to lunch, so then they're not really focused, but you can guide them to what it is you want. And you do have some really good opportunities for having a productive conversation with a supervisor about more money. Or if you are getting a new job, you can negotiate for more money at this time. So I think that this is something to definitely work on because it's out of sign. It may not be as obvious, so it might be that the boss says, here's some of the raise and some perks, and maybe those perks have a monetary value. So there's going to be something that's not quite as straightforward, and I know for most people that can be irritating, but for you have such a strong ability to take things, adapt them to what you need, to pivot. So I think you're going to be just fine. Okay, Cancer, you guys are doing this new moon right at the top of your chart. And so this is almost like you have a new reputation, like people are seeing you in a new way. Maybe they found out that you have this hobby that you're really good at, and they never knew that you played the flute or played badminton or whatever. So this also could mean that you have a new job opportunity, and this could be something that is very exciting, something brand new about it. So even if it's, like a similar position, you're going to meet new people and there's new opportunities. And so there is something new. And this is a time, too, to conceive of new things. So let's say you're not ready to make the job change, but maybe it's time to start looking at the possibilities of what a new job could look like. What kind of job would you want, and what are the steps you would need to take to get there? So this is also, too, about all the social media stuff and how your reputation is out in the world. And so maybe that is going out on LinkedIn and building up your profile, or looking at your Instagram and more curating what it is that you're posting. So there is here a new beginning. Maybe you don't post at all, and so you're going to start your YouTube channel or your podcast or something. This is great energy for launching something. Now, Saturn has started its 3-year journey through your house of travel, education, as well as faith and belief. And so this is where you're going to find some challenges over a 3-year period, not just 2 weeks, of, where you want to get good at something, where you're faced with climbing a mountain, you want to get to the top of the mountain, but you're an inexperienced climber at the moment. And so that might be, if you're in school, you might start looking at study habits, a way to retain information or improve test taking. If you want to go to school, this might mean that you need to knock on a lot of doors and find different ways of funding your education. What can you do besides loans? Maybe this is about travel. Maybe you've hesitated to travel in the past and you really want to do it. And so this is where you're fighting to do this, where you're saying, I'm going to get my passport, I'm going to go. Or maybe you've been traveling a lot and you say, you know what, I just want to stay home for a while. And so maybe you just say, you know what, I just want a break. Now, Pluto is going to be going through your 8th house for 20 years, and that is your house of resources from others. This is about power and intimacy and really deep connections. Now, a 20-year transit like this means that you're going to have plenty of time to work out the different things that Pluto is going to bring you. So, but if there is things like you wanted to create passive income sources, if you want deeper relationships, Pluto is going to help facilitate that. It's just going to be in this house for you for a couple of months this year, and then we're going to see most of this happen next year. So, and the year after that, and again, for 20 years. So in the things that it brings you over these next couple of months, then you can see kind of like a little taste test of what all of this is going to be about. And so look for opportunities for investing, but it may not be time to invest yet because this energy is so new. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, the moon's making a sextile to Pluto. It's an out of sign sextile based on this chart, and that is that there's new love for you, but it's not where you expect. And so this means if you're used to doing online dating, it may not be online dating. It might be somebody who introduces you to someone. Maybe this is something where you're taking a step out of your comfort zone and you're saying to somebody, oh, hey, I really like what you do, and can we have coffee, etc. So you're doing the approaching. So there is an opportunity. A sextile is a lovely opportunity, but it does require you to take some action. But when you do, there can be some very good results. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, the moon's making a semi-sextile to Saturn. Now, I've talked about semi-sextiles a lot on this channel. A semi-sextile energy is the rock in your shoe. So you're on a hike and you have this little rock in your shoe. And if you don't stop to take the rock out of your shoe, it's just going to ruin the hike. And that is, when it comes to existing love relationship, that there's something, this small irritation between the two of you that could grow into something that is actually damaging in the relationship. But right now, all you need to do is take the rock out of your shoe. And that is to ask yourself, one, why are you bugged by what they're doing? And two, why are they doing the thing that bugs you? And maybe asking them why they're doing the thing that bugs you, or vice versa, like if they're saying they're bugged by something. And this is an opportunity to work this out. And when you do, things could get much better. Now, when it comes to friendships, the moon's making a semi-sextile to Venus, and Venus is in that house. And so this is more that the irritation is just that you need to work while the social event's going on, but if you go to the social event, you could meet somebody, and so then you have to decide, should I work or should I do this? Or maybe you're already home and you don't really want to go to the social event or the happy hour or the party, and so, but this is just getting over a small resistance or obstacle, and then you could meet a new friend. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from the sun, which is elevated in your chart, and that means it's at the highest position. So this means you are very noticeable. So if you want a new job, your resume rises to the top. If you want to get some sort of promotion or something, go talk to people. They may say, oh yeah, we were thinking about you for that job anyway. If you want to launch something, this is the time. And I do want to say that if you're going to launch something, don't launch it exactly on the new moon, because this new moon has that zero energy. And the zero energy is too new. I mean, the seed is under the ground. We can't see it. And so wait maybe until like in a week until we hit the first quarter, or until you can visibly see the moon in the sky, even the crescent, and then do your launch. So that would be 2.5 days to 5 days-ish. So, 7 days would be the first quarter. But when you launch, your whatever it is you're launching could be seen by more people. Now, also realize that you're seen by more people, so that when you're doing things out in the world, specifically, this is about money, when you're doing those, you're very noticeable. So keep that in mind, and, keep, doing things in line with what it is that you want. If you run out and take a job that you don't want, that's going to be very noticeable too. Now, when it comes to money from your business or from investments, the sun's making a semi-square to Uranus. Now, a semi-square is a challenging aspect. It says that there's many irritations that are happening, but if you can get past that hurdle, then you are going to find what it is that you're looking for, the reward. So think of it in terms of like if you were trying to, do some emailing, important writing of correspondence or something, but there's a loud motorcycle outside and the guy above you is playing music and, your cat's meowing. That's a semi-square. It's just constant distractions, constant things, and even the distractions that are pleasurable, like, oh, I want to go eat, or I want to play this video game. So try to stay focused, and when you do, then you're going to get rewarded when it comes to business income as well as investment income. Now, when it comes to money derived from your career, and that would be like a paycheck, you have the North Node Venus and also Uranus in that house, so that's very good. The sun's making a semi-sextile to that Venus, so that's really good. So it's not the strongest it'll ever be, but it's pretty good, especially if you're looking for a smaller bump up. If you're looking for something that's incremental, like they say, we'll give you some of the raise now and some a little later this year. So look for that or negotiate it that way. This is especially good for looking for perks. If you're going into a new job, this is getting over the hurdle or the hesitation of asking for more money. That's where the semi-sextile is. So then you're not asking for a small amount or things to be incremental. You're saying, I need a lot more. And so, but that might not feel comfortable. And then they're going to push back a little bit and you'll compromise somewhere in the middle. Okay, Leo, you guys are doing this new moon energy in your house of education, travel, also faith and belief. And so there is possibly something here of you decide you're going to go back to school, or you get very excited about a subject and you find that there's a ton of information you can find online. This is very new energy, so this could be something that you've never studied before. It could be something that you didn't even know existed before, and now you want to learn about it. It's also possible that this is a destination. Like it pops into your head to go to, like a place in Japan or a little island out in the Atlantic or something like that. There's a place that you never thought of going before, and now you're all excited about it, and you have opportunities to get yourself there. You have a very nice ninth house right now, and so making the plans to do something like that would be very good. This is a time to look at those things, the guiding principles of your life, what you're following, and ask yourself if they're still valid for you. Now, Saturn is going to travel through your 8th house, which is about resources from others, intimacy and power, and it's going to be there for about 3 years. Now, over the course of this 3 years, it is helping you gain some expertise in the area of passive income sources or getting resources from others, and that's any kind of help. Now, it's Saturn, and Saturn says you get all of the reward when you work really, really hard. And so expect that this is where, if you put in the efforts, you're going to be rewarded. Now, when I say work really hard, this doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be terrible. The people who climb up the side of a mountain to plant a flag on top, they're working really hard, but they're doing something that they enjoy. They're doing something they love. So find the things that have value for you, but then this is the area to lean in to say, all right, I'm going to learn how to do this, the ins and outs of creating passive income or dealing with, power plays and, people who are manipulative, and how do I work with these types of people, or how do I become closer in my love relationship, more intimate, to be more open. So this is the types of things that Saturn's going to bring you over the next 3 years. Now, Pluto is going to cross into your house of relationships, and it's just going to do it very, very briefly this year, and then this energy will unfold over a 20-year period. And so over a 20-year period, you'll have opportunities to meet people who have great power. You could meet celebrities, you could meet influencers. This could also transform your current love relationship and take it into a direction that you like more. So hopefully that is closer, but if you're looking to get out of a relationship, That is also a possibility. Again, this unfolds over a 20-year period. This is not going to be a quick aspect, so expect that you may get a little bit of information about what it's going to be over the next few months, but you may not. You might go through this whole year and not experience any big changes in your love relationships. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, there's no aspect going on between the Sun and Jupiter. And so everything's very elevated in your chart. You're extremely noticeable. That means someone might notice you, but your head's not there. And so you're not really thinking love. And so, you might think, yeah, it's very nice to meet you. And thank you for shaking my hand for a very long time. But you're just not thinking of love. And so if you're with a friend, they might say, hey, that person just asked you out and you didn't notice. So, but otherwise, this isn't the time to really be pursuing that. This energy will line up better in the future, but right now you're not doing an aspect. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, the Sun's making a semi-square to Uranus. So it is very important that you have a discussion about the future with your partner and really kind of get on the same page, which you can do now. And this could be long-term stuff like where are we going to move when we retire, or do we want to change our lifestyle, or maybe this is, should one or both of us go back to school? So this could be, where are we heading with our faith? Do we believe the same things? So you have an opportunity over this next 2 weeks to work out some issues and to get closer as a couple. Now, when it comes to friendships, Mars is still in that house and the Sun's making a conjunction to Mercury. You have big opportunities for creating friendships at this time because the new moon is in the 9th house. Go take a class or go to church or go to some place where people deal with education, faith, or travel, and you could meet somebody very interesting for a friendship, or you could meet many people who, in and amongst those, you can find some friends. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from that Mercury in that house of education, and so that could say, what is it that you still need to learn to make this money thing happen? And so maybe that's learning to handle your money. Maybe that's learning about investment opportunities or how to run a business. This also rules foreign things, travel, etc. So maybe this is getting samples in from overseas, or how do you source a supplier from overseas? Maybe you need to find a personal assistant and they are in another country. So this is about what is it that you need to do, and then looking for whatever education you need to get that done. Now, when it comes to money from your investments or from your business, Mercury is not making an aspect with Neptune. So the energy is that you're very focused on the education and learning. I should have said also that all these planets are in the house of government. So you might be dealing with government paperwork, getting some sort of certification or licensing in order, or renewing some sort of authorization. Maybe you are going to do government contracts, and so you're doing all the paperwork. So there's a lot of paperwork here going on, a lot of forms and things like that. Less about collecting profits over this next 2 weeks. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, so that would be like a paycheck, Mercury is in your 9th house, and we already talked about that. That's education and travel. So if you ask for a raise, you could be told, well, you have to pass a test before you qualify, or you need a degree before we can bump you up. It's also possible that they say, yes, you can have a raise, but you're going to do more travel. Or you can have a raise, but you do less travel, whichever it is that, it's so there's some stipulations that they're going to say are requirements to get this money. So there will be an opportunity pretty soon where this energy lines up better. Right now, just know that if you're negotiating for a raise, that they're going to ask you to do something. Okay, Virgo, you guys are doing this new moon energy in your 8th house. That is resources from others, which includes passive income, investment income, business income. It is also about power, control, and intimacy, where you can really get to know someone. You can really find out the truth about something, where you can understand a person's motivation. So with this new energy, it's possible that you have a great interest in this right now, of learning about body language and how people communicate and micro expressions and things like that. This is possible that there's a new type of investment, or that your business has just started to show some profits, and so you are very focused on that. This could bring a new intimate relationship, something that's very physical. That's a possibility. It also, though, could mean you discover the truth about something you had no idea was happening. And now that you know the truth, that your relationships with that individual is shifting. Now, Saturn has started its 3-year transit through your house of relationships. Now, this is going to take a relationship, and if it's a new relationship, could solidify it. And that means you go from dating to living together or engaged and then getting married. So if your relationship is already existing, then over this next 3 years, it can be strengthened. The two of you can get more solid together. Or if that relationship is already brittle, Saturn will then just snap it. So this is something where you have a 3-year period to look at this, to get better at relating with your partner if you want to keep this going. And of course, they would have to want to keep this going too. This might mean that you find a professional to help you out, to guide you through this process. But if you are wanting to get into a love relationship and go for something that is long-term, a really stable relationship, this is what you've been waiting for, this Saturn transit. It doesn't mean it's easy, but it does lead to this possibility of a very strong, stable relationship. Now, Pluto is going to go into your 6th house. That is work, health, and daily routines. It's going to be there for 20 years. And over that 20-year period, it's going to change your routines. It's going to change how you take care of your health. It will certainly change your job at some point. It's only going to be in Aquarius for a few months this year. And so you might get a little bit of a hint about what it is. But for the most part, this is just going to unfold over many years. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, I just said this about 4 times and I can't get those 2 words out. When it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, ta-da, Mercury is making a semi-sextile with Saturn. And this means that you have an opportunity to meet someone new, but there is some sort of a small impediment to this process, or you don't like the process in general. Maybe you're a little bit nervous about meeting the person. Maybe your schedules aren't lining up. But once you get past that small little detail, things could go very well. So you do want to make an effort and see if you can't accommodate that person. Sometimes, Virgo, you can have a very tight schedule or, very precise order that you want to do things in, but a little bit of flexibility here could be beneficial. When it comes to existing love relationships, Mercury is not making an aspect with Neptune. So your focus might be on relationships in general, like what kind of relationship you want, how you would like your relationship to morph into something that, makes the two of you feel like, you trust each other, you have each other's back, you're supportive, etc. It's not quite time to implement these things. It's not lining up that either your partner is ready to say yes to this, or even that you're ready to tell them what it is you want. This is just about you thinking about the relationship, not actually applying those principles just yet. This is just over this 2-week period. So, in general, you're just thinking about it and not really saying, okay, we got to go to counseling or something like that. Now, when it comes to friendships, the moon's making a conjunction to Mercury, so there are definite opportunities to make some new friends over this next 2 weeks. Now, I think the location of these friends could be at social events where you talk about finance, social events that are around spiritual things, especially things like meditation, but also tarot cards and magic and feng shui and things like that would be very good for you meeting someone. Also, meeting someone in surroundings where you feel safe. And so that would be, your local grocery store, or perhaps your favorite coffee shop, or things like that. So we're looking for an opportunity to meet new friends. That it's definitely here. But it is in a circumstance where you're either dealing with, high finance or things like that, or you're in a place where you feel very comfortable and safe. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from that Venus in the 9th house, and that is education. It's also about like certification, licensing, and things like that. So this is that the next step in your process of making money might be to get a license to, sell something, to be certified, or to get a professional standing in that. Maybe that is done through the government. Maybe that is done through joining an organization, a professional organization that then, says, oh yes, you have a high level of competency in this. This is also about education, and so that is looking at what you need to know to make more money. What is the thing, like, I talk to a lot of people who want to start a business, and they say, yes, and I really want to do a website, and I have no idea where to start. And so, of course, the start is to go into YouTube and say, how do I start a website? And then walk through those, to that tutorial. So that's where that Venus is. It's sitting in that house of education, which includes tutorials, as well as kind of government paperwork or certifications. Now, when it comes to money derived from your business or from investments, even though Venus is not making an aspect with Mars, in that house, you have the Sun, Moon, Mercury, Chiron, and Jupiter. So you have a huge amount of energy. So what's probable is you can gain sales, you can find some great investments. You may not be able to take profits or receive the payment during the 2-week period, but this is a great time to be planting a lot of seeds in this area to, maybe, launch new marketing or phone up clients and tell them about packages you have, to talk to your broker about different types of investing. There is great potential here, and when this does line up, you'll get the payday. Now, when it comes to money derived from your career, so that would be like a paycheck, Venus is making a semi-sextile to the moon. And then the moon is in a money house. And so the semi-sextile, which, I've talked about semi-sextiles many, many times on this channel, and that is that you need to do some of the little details to get whatever it is that you want. And so because the ruler of this house is in a money house, that's really good news. It may be, though, that you get more perks than actual cash. So, and that could be the semi-sextile part of it, the slight irritation about it. And so, maybe they offer you more time off or more vacation time or a better stock option or better commission schedule or something like that. So be open to negotiating for when you're asking for more money to say, hey, I would accept this and this and this as well. And I think you could get something. Okay, Libra, you guys are doing this new moon in your house of relationships. This is not just love relationships, but this is all the people that you meet, mentors, partners, collaborators, people who could become friends, people who could become coworkers. So everyone that you meet comes through your 7th house. And so this is where this new energy is. So you may already feel this, that you have a focus on, getting out into the world and meeting new people, or if you can't get out into the world, at least meeting people through Zoom or through correspondence, emails and texts and things like that. This could be that you have some people in your life and you want a new relationship with them, And that would be, maybe they're just acquaintances and you want to move them to friendship. Maybe they're a friend and you want to move them into, the status of a love relationship. So many opportunities for you. This is the time to plant seeds over this next 2 weeks. And so if you will just get out and meet some new people, even if you just meet a couple of new people, those new connections could morph into something that's wonderful. Now, Saturn has started its 3-year journey through Pisces and your house of work, health, and daily routines. And this is where the hard work comes in. And if you do the hard work, then you are rewarded. So think of this as the mountain climber at the base of the mountain. He wants to climb to the top to place the flag at the top of the mountain. He's doing this because he wants to, he enjoys it, but it doesn't mean it's not hard work. And so when it comes to your work, like how can you streamline your work? How can you make it, be more efficient? Well, what can you delegate? Are you learning to delegate? This is about your health and where you need to pay attention to it. How can you eat better and take better care of yourself? This is about your daily routines, how you can work to have good routines. If you find you start a routine and it just dissolves, if you find you're easily distracted, this is the placement now over this next 3 years where you can get very good at having good habits and taking care of yourself. Now, Pluto is going to start its 20-year transit through your house of creativity, self-expression. This is also children and romance. And so, but this is a 20-year transit, so things are going to unfold very slowly. Now, Pluto is going to step into the sign of Aquarius for a couple of months and then dance back out into Capricorn. And so you may get a hint over the next few months about what this is going to be. You may not. So, this is such a short little introduction into this house for you that you might not get many clues about this until 2024. So, but, this could be a time where it transforms your art. You might start a family. If you already have a family, you might launch them, into the world. So, and changing attitudes about romance and how you express yourself in general, what do you find is fun? These are the types of things that are going to be happening over a 20-year period. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, even though Venus is not making an aspect with Uranus, you do have a very strong relationship house. So I think that there's very much energy around relationships, but they may not be new to you. So it's possible that you dated them once before. Maybe it was years ago, or maybe it was fairly recently and you weren't sure if you clicked, but this time now it's clicking. So it may be that somebody from your past is coming back to ask you out, or that you're finally getting around to that blind date that somebody was fixing you up on months ago and it's now going to happen. So I think that there are love possibilities for sure, though there's something about them that's not exactly new. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, again, there's no aspect going on between Venus and Mars, but you have Sun, Moon, Mercury, Chiron, and Jupiter in that house. So there's a ton of energy happening. Now, what this can mean is that the two of you are coming together, and because of external circumstances, you're very much focused on doing things, and you're doing them together as a couple, but you're not really working on the relationship, which is fine. So the relationship's going along as always, but maybe you're traveling, and so you're focused on being in new circumstances, where's my passport, or how do we get from the airport to the hotel, and things like that. Maybe this is you as a couple meeting other people and connecting that way. And so you're seen as a couple and you're not so much working on, who's doing the laundry this week. And, so this is, I think, very good energy. It is, though, more of you being a couple rather than working on your relationship. Now, when it comes to friendships, the Sun is making a semi-sextile to Venus. Now, I've talked about semi-sextiles many times on this channel, and it is that little rock in your shoe. So you're on a hike, and you want to get to your destination, but there's a rock in your shoe. And if you don't get that rock out, you are going to be limping by the time you get there. So basically, this translates into there's some small impediment to you going out and making friends. And it's that if you don't remove this thing, then you're not making the friends, and friends are so important. So it is, look for what's stopping you. You know, is it the venue you don't want to go to? Is the parking difficult? Is the time not good? You know, are you uncertain because you'll be the only person you know at this party? You know, so what is the thing that's stopping you? Try to find a solution to that, because there could be a great opportunity for friendships especially during this 2-week period. Now, when it comes to your money, you have some super exciting energy going on. Your money, you pull money both from Pluto, which is changing signs, into Aquarius for a few months. And so that's all new stuff, and, you know, maybe technology related, maybe community related, new ideas coming in. Plus, Mars is elevated in your chart, and it's going to be changing signs. So everything around this says something new is occurring. New sources of money, new attitudes about making money, new breakthroughs on how to do it, what market to be in, where to expand, what to go after. So really interesting energy. I think a lot of this is so new. You just want to get a pen and paper or a stone tablet. Yep, that old. No, write down. What I'm trying to say is write down the ideas, because they're going to come fast and furious. So, if I'm feeling modern, I would say, put the ideas in Notion or in Trello or some place where you can access them. Or write them down on a piece of paper. But there's going to be so many ideas. You don't want to miss this. And a lot of these are going to be big, so you can't implement them all over a 2-week period. So you just want to make sure you record them. Now, when it comes to money derived from your investments or your business, Venus is making an out-of-sign square to Pluto. That means there is some big money-making opportunities over this 2-week period in these areas, but it's out of sign. So this means that it's not as obvious. That is going to mean that you sit down and meditate on this, or ask yourself the question, where is the money that I could be making now? From a business standpoint, this could be that somebody wants like a product you used to have, or they want a product that's different that you were thinking about doing, and then they're ordering it before it's available. This could be an unconventional investment, or at least an investment you've never heard of before. So there are some real money-making opportunities. A square is very strong energy, but it's out of sign, which means it's just not obvious. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, so that's like a paycheck, the sun's making an out-of-sign sextile to Pluto and an out-of-sign square to Mars. Very strong energy, but again, out of sign. So that means that when you go to the boss and say, I want a raise, the boss is like flummoxed, like, oh, I never expected you to do this. Or perhaps the boss is hard to find because they're traveling, or you're getting a new boss and you're in this kind of transition time. But there's a lot of energy pointing to it's time to start asking for this, because there may be something where they're opening up some new department, maybe a new position you could slide into. If you are looking for a new job, this is the time, maybe the first time ever, where you ask for more money and where you really negotiate for more money. So you have really strong energy during this 2-week period for getting more money when you work for someone else. Okay, Scorpio, you guys are doing this new moon and all of this new energy in your house of work, health, and daily routines. So this is a time where you want to really look at your routines and come up with something brand new, something you have never done before. Maybe this is that, you get up early to go horseback riding, or to paint pictures, or to write your novel, or something like that, and you've never done it this way before. Maybe this is some new health technique that has come into your mind or into your experience. So, someone has a new method of finding, how to make you healthier. Maybe you are, for the first time, going to go vegan or carnivore or something like that. So this is very new energy. As you are, exploring this, you may find that you have to make some tweaks on it as we go forward. But over the next 2 weeks, try to do some new things in these areas. It's also, of course, your work. And so you may get a new coworker. There may be some changes at work. Those things may not stick. So because, when you plant seeds, not all of them sprout. And so you might get a new coworker, but then they don't stay. Or there may be new systems implemented and they just are changed later before you even get used to them. Now, Saturn has started its 3-year transit through your 5th house. That is pleasure, creativity, children, romance. And so it's going to feel like, like if you're a student of astrology, that this all sounds quite incompatible with Saturn, because Saturn is about hard work and expertise and, really focusing on something to achieve it, doing deep work. So, but if we apply that to creativity, what we're thinking is that this is going to be you putting a structure around your creativity. So if you're writing your novel or you're painting pictures, maybe taking it to the level of getting some instruction, putting it on a website, telling other people you're doing it, publishing something, doing an art show, doing something at a professional level. So if this is things that are enjoyable, maybe looking for hobbies that actually could make you money, things that you really enjoy that could be a business. If this is about children, this is where you are really looking at how you can help your kids, not in just, doing all the things you're already doing, but maybe talking to professionals about this, maybe getting some education yourself about something. Maybe they need extra help with their calculus, and so you take a class on calculus. So Saturn is about hard work, but it yields results that are really worth it. This is a 3-year aspect. It's not going to unfold all at once. But over the course of the next 3 years, you're going to have opportunities where if you put in the effort, you will get a great reward. Now, Pluto is going to start its 20-year transit through your 4th house of home and family. And this, over a 20-year period, is going to transform that area of your life. And that is, it's going to change where you live and your lifestyle and how you interact with family. It can expand your family. Yes, it could shrink your family. This is a 20-year aspect. And so it's going to unfold quite slowly. So this is not going to be some sort of shock. Pluto is actually quite subtle about things. It causes us to have realizations, and that shifts our perspective about things. And so, you just walking along and then suddenly it hits you that why your mother was like the way she was. And then you say, wow, I can really forgive what she was doing. I understand. So it's all an internal shift, but ultimately it would change the relationship with your mother. So that's what this 20-year aspect is about. It can change your living circumstances. It can, move you into a whole new direction, like moving you out of the country, moving you from the city to the farm life and things like that. So there's a lot of good things that can happen with this energy. I think it's very important that you kind of point yourself in the direction you want to go. Give the universe some goals, tell them, yes, I want to go live in the south of France, so that the universe can start opening up a path in that direction. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, of course, Pluto is making its usual sextile to Neptune. Now, the difference, of course, is that Pluto is going into a new sign, and this means really new. And so that means that when we're talking about love relationships, look at doing something very different. If you've been doing online, go see somebody in person. If you've been only doing in person and shunning online, consider doing online. Maybe see a matchmaker or allow yourself to be on a blind date. So you have some good energy with the North Node, Venus, and Uranus in your house of relationships. And because you're doing the sextile, something can happen, but look at doing something a brand new way. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, you have a lot of energy because Venus is making an out-of-sign square to Pluto. You also, as I mentioned before, the North Node, Venus, and Uranus in that house. So something is coming to a head, and this is going to come out of the blue because it's out of sign. That means it's unexpected. So, but, if there has been some increased tension between the two of you, it's going to come out, and you then have an opportunity to solve this problem. So the best thing to do is to look at what it possibly could be, and you may not see it because this is an out-of-sign square, so it may not be where you're expecting, but if you ask the universe could provide that answer so that you could say, hey, I see us, kind of going in a direction where there could be a conflict. Let's solve this problem now. So now this also could be, because it's an out-of-sign square, the two of you are thrown together more than usual. And so the reasons for that would be, travel, or you're working on a project together. So instead of you being on one side of the house and they're on the other side of the house, you are actually side by side working on something together. And this is actually a really good and easy way to use this energy. So if you have, like disassembled IKEA furniture around, maybe this is time to put together that credenza or whatever it is. I guess it's not disassembled. It would be unassembled. Now, when it comes to friendships, Mercury is making a sextile to Pluto. So you have an opportunity to meet new friends during this 2-week period. Now, a sextile means you need to take some sort of action to activate the reward. But when you do, there is a reward. So now Mercury is in your house of work. And so this could be going to work-related events or, networking or doing things that are more professionally minded. This is also in your area of health. So that would mean meeting people at the gym, or if you go to Tai Chi class or something in that sort of vein, even going hiking. You might meet someone. Of course, there's tons of hiking groups everywhere, so that could be a place. But there's a sextile here, so there's an opportunity to meet someone for a friendship. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from that Jupiter, and we have not talked about Jupiter much in this whole video, and that's because Jupiter, being a 16 here, is not doing much. It's doing a little semi-sextile to Uranus. It's exact, but it's just a semi-sextile. So basically, your money is still very focused on what are your routines and elevating your game, raising your standards so that you get the things done that you need to get done. This Jupiter is not going to be going through this house of routines too much longer. So Jupiter is going to leave this sign in May. So you have until then, mid-May, to get your routines in place, to find ways so that you can resist distractions, so you can really focus and, get the things done to make the money that you're looking for. So this is your opportunity. That semi-sextile to Uranus says that, there's someone who's wanting to help you, but there's some sort of impediment to that. And so if you can find what the problem is, whether it's matching up your schedules or figuring out maybe you don't do a lot of Zoom, and so you have to figure that part out. But once you get past that hurdle, you could find a lot of benefit in, for money making with this individual. Now, when it comes to money from your investments or from your business, Mercury's not making an aspect with Jupiter. So this is more about looking at the routines, looking at your business infrastructure, looking at how you do your automatic deposits or, setting those up. This is about building a system. And then later the money will come in. But right now, because these planets aren't lining up, you're making about the same as usual. You may be investing a little bit more in systems or hiring employees or, that sort of, outgo. But this energy will line up in the future. Right now, though, this is more about looking at the system, getting that in place, writing the employee handbook, finding the right people. That's what's going to help you build your financial portfolio. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, so like a paycheck, that same aspect for you applies. And that means that what's going to happen is or lack of aspect, I should say, it means that if you ask for a raise, your boss is just going to say, well, you should just work more hours, or here's an extra project, or I'm going to take some people away from you and you can still do the same amount of work. So be a little bit careful if you're thinking about asking right now, because I think the quid quo pro on this is not going to be very beneficial for you. I think that it is more that if you just wait until this energy lines up, you could get a yes. Right now, you're going to get a only if you do such and such will I give you something sort of energy. Okay, Sagittarius, you guys are doing this new moon in your 5th house. This is about creativity, fun, romance. It also rules children. And so something new is happening in this area. So does that mean it's a possible pregnancy? Yes, it could mean that. So, your family could be expanding, there could be new puppy in your life. But mostly this is about looking at your life and bringing more pleasure into your life. What's fun now? It's possible that the things that you thought were fun in the past, you're just bored with, you've done it too many times, or they're just not as fun as they were before. And so this is like going out and doing something new. And Sagittarius, you are about adventure, you're the explorer. So go explore and do some new things. This is also about romance and looking at, really building in some romance, not just receiving the romance, but actually doing the romance of, being at the romantic restaurant, going dancing, sending flowers, sending love notes, etc. This is about creativity. And so this says try something brand new when it comes to your creativity. If you're a painter, maybe try sculpture. If you're a writer, maybe try a podcast. So look at something that you can do that's brand new, and really get yourself out of your comfort zone and explore something. Now, Saturn's gone into Pisces, and it's going to do a 3-year transit through your house of home and family. And this, wherever Saturn is where if you put in the effort, you get rewarded. It is where you want to get good at something, where you want to work hard at something. So the most obvious thing here is, of course, working on the house itself. So that would be home renovations, fixing the place up. This could be inside and out, doing everything from floor to the attic, cleaning out stuff is also, kind of with this Saturn in Pisces. But then this is also about working on your family relationships, understanding the different family members, coming together, working at bringing the family together, even with your divergent schedules and, everybody running every different direction. So over the course of this 3-year period, you may move. And that would be a lot of, effort and work involved. It's also possible that somebody in the family is moving and you're helping them, or more than one person is doing that. But remember, with Saturn, you work first and then you get the reward. And the reward is bigger than you were expecting because you also get the satisfaction that you did a job very well. You have the new skills that you had, whether that is skills at interpersonal relationships or skills at, laying down a new wood floor. So it's very beneficial to lean into this and work at it. Now, Pluto is going to do a 20-year transit through your house of communication. This is your thinking process as well as how you communicate out in the world. It is also about dexterity, neighbors, siblings, compulsory education, all of those types of things, your vehicle. So you're going to change cars in the next 20 years. I didn't really go out on a limb on that prediction. So, but it's what's more important with the Pluto is that you're transforming how you communicate with yourself and how you communicate with others. That is what's going to be the big deal here, because the Pluto is about power. And so you, over this long transit, could become a very powerful communicator. Now, Pluto's only going to step into the sign for a couple of months, then it's going to go back into Capricorn for a while. So this may just give you kind of a little preview of what's going to be happening. So, but there are going to be some big things that unfold, and as we talk in future videos, we will discuss it. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, even though Mars is not making an aspect with Jupiter, in that house, you have Sun, Moon, Mercury, Chiron, Jupiter. That's a lot. It is very likely you could meet someone. This is someone brand new. Somebody not only that you've never dated before, but there's something very different about them that is so new. Maybe they're from a different place. Maybe they're someone that you never considered dating before. So there is a real opportunity, especially if you're moving in the direction of somebody new. That's what to focus on. Who can you meet? Go to a new place, do a new way of meeting someone, and you could meet someone who becomes a love relationship. Now, when it comes to existing love relationship, there's no aspect going on between Mercury and Jupiter. And so there is, as I said, your house of romance is lit up. So if you want to do something in that area, you can. But what this mostly is the two of you are just doing your normal routine, not really working on the relationship. So there's harmony here. There is probably some discussions as Saturn is started in your house of home and family that, what are your long-term plans? How are you going to get, the house in shape if you're going to sell it? How do you maintain the house? Maybe how to bring the family together. So, but these are all external to the relationship. And so that's what we're seeing is that the two of you are fine, but you may be working on different projects together. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from that Saturn, which is now in Pisces and now in a new house. And so this is right at the base of your chart. And the base of your chart is about foundations. So this is to set up a solid foundation so that you can truly build wealth. So what is a solid foundation? Well, that might mean an emergency fund. That might mean that you have automatic deposit and automatic bill pay so that you never miss a payment. Maybe this is that you have a written budget and you sit down with a family every single month or even every week and you go through it. So this is establishing something that is the foundation, the foundational principles. This may also be something that is, where you are emotionally setting the foundation, where you have shifted this from a place of, I can't figure out this money stuff to, I'm going to figure out this money stuff. So this is it's a new beginning because, Saturn's in a new sign. There are new opportunities coming up. We'll talk about the real estate opportunities, family business opportunities, working home opportunities. Those will start to unfold as well, but mostly focus right now on creating a solid foundation. Now, when it comes to money from your business or money from investments, the moon's making a semi-sextile to Saturn. And so I've talked about semi-sextiles many times on this channel. That is, if you take care of the little details, then things go well. So I always give the example of there's a little rock in your shoe. You're on a hike. You're trying to get to your destination, but you need to stop and take that rock out of your shoe. Otherwise, you're going to be limping the rest of the way. So this is look for what the small impediments are. Is your home office a mess so you can't get things done? Is your computer too antiquated so you can't edit videos? I guess that's not a super small, but maybe a friend has a computer that's better and they could lend it to you. So there are ways around these things. Look at what really is the impediments and then, get that rock out of your shoe. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, so like a paycheck, Venus is making a sextile to Saturn. So there is an opportunity here to gain more money over the next 2 weeks in your career. And so this is the time to ask for, raises, promotions, to ask, what kind of bonus you could get. there is an opportunity here. Sextile means you have to take some sort of action to make it happen, and they're not coming to you. So if you'll start this process, and with all this seed planting energy, just plant the seed. And then a week later say, okay, can we have our meeting, etc. And you could get some very good results. Okay, Capricorn, you guys are doing this new moon and all of this new energy in your fourth house. This is the house of home and family. So this is also the area of foundations. And so there's something new at the very base of your chart. And so that is that, maybe you're already just moved, and so you're in a new location and you're learning about the community. Maybe there's a new member of the family through marriage or a birth. And so then something is new about the dynamic of the family. This also may be that you're making a big decision about your family, and from a either birth family or spiritual family standpoint of bringing new people in or moving away from situations that are too stressful, that are not helping you grow. This can be that you're interested in real estate, and so you are looking in that direction, or doing a business at home, doing a family business. So that's this could be the seeds that you're planting. It says to do something brand new. So if you've been thinking about doing this for a while and you haven't taken any action, this is the time to take action. But if this is something you've been starting over and over again and it hasn't worked, look to do something that is completely different. So look for a different way to do the business, look for different people to do the business with, even just change rooms. Like if you have a home office and you never go in there, maybe you should work at the dining room table. So look at what you can do new in this area. Now, Saturn has started its 3-year transit through your house of thinking process, communication, as well as neighbors, siblings, and transportation. And so over the course of the next 3 years, Saturn's going to ask you to work very hard at this. And if you do, you will get amazing rewards. So in the area of communication, this could be about, if English is your second language, or if you live in a place where you need a second language, where you're honing your skills at that. Maybe this is learning how to journal so that you can process information, learning how to communicate more effectively when you write or when you're teaching, how to tell a story. Maybe this is about your relationships with your siblings and working harder with those, or trying to establish boundaries with neighbors. This can be that you find some sort of work related to transportation or communication. And so, but if you work at it, then you get the reward. And that's what Saturn promises. But Saturn really does want the hard work to happen, where you become the expert, where you become the authority. So you have 3 years to do this. This is just the beginning of this energy. Again, we're very much at a seed planting time, trying out new things. When we try new things, not all of them work. And so the Saturn would have you then say, okay, why did this not work? What did I learn from it? How can I grow? How can I build on this foundation? So then Pluto is going to do a 20-year transit through your house of money. Wow. And so it's going to step into this house just for a couple of months in this year, and then it's going to back out back into your own sign of Capricorn. And then in 2024, it will be back again, etc. So this, because it's a 20-year aspect, it will transform how you deal with money completely. Now, the second house is also about self-worth, and I don't really emphasize that much on this channel, but I probably should. So this is also going to transform your sense of worthiness. So you may get some hints of what this is going to be over this, next couple of months. You may not, because this is such a short little hop into the sign and then hop back out. So, but I do think that over a 20-year period, how you make your money, how your attitudes about money, your attitudes about receiving in general, how you feel about yourself will transform. And that can bring, well, Pluto going through the second house can bring a lot of financial reward. It's a very slow-moving planet. It does have that sense that you have to get outside your comfort zone. You have to, cathartically release any blocks, limiting beliefs, etc. So it's a process, but it does yield some amazing rewards. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, Venus is making a sextile to Saturn, so that's an opportunity, plus Venus is in that house, so you have an opportunity to meet someone new. And this could manifest into a love relationship. Now, I think the only challenge that I see is that you have to get out of the house. The sextile means you have to take an action, and when you do, something beneficial can occur. But right now, I think that the opportunity is there. Maybe somebody fixes you up, or maybe you see someone who's very interesting online and a communication starts, but you need to have that in-person meeting so that you can feel the energy between the two of you and see if it's a match. And so that is a great opportunity for you over the next 2 weeks. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, the moon's making a semi-sextile to Saturn. Now, I've talked about semi-sextiles many times on this channel. A semi-sextile is an energy of you're on a hike, you're trying to get to your destination, but there's a little rock in your shoe. And even though you don't want to, you have to stop and take the rock out of your shoe. If you don't, you're going to be hobbled and, just hurting so bad by the time you get to your destination. So when it comes to your existing love relationship, there's a little rock in this relationship, and that is there's a little thing that you need to deal with between each other so that you can harmonize again. And maybe this is something that you do that irritates them, or they do that irritates you. And so you need to figure out why the irritation is happening and why the person is doing what they're doing. And when you do, then you can have harmony. But you need to stop and do this. And of course, in our, rush to the next thing, sort of life, that can be hard, but it's so beneficial if you will stop and do that. Now, when it comes to friendships, Saturn's making a semi-sextile to Pluto. And so again, we have that semi-sextile energy. There's some small impediment that's stopping you from going and meeting new friends. And I would say it's probably the fact that you have every single planet below the horizon right now. And that is that you're not very visible. You're at home, you're in your neighborhood, you're at work, you're not really being seen by others. And so that's where you need to go to some places. And this, even though we are doing very new energy here, because the South Node is in your 11th house, you could go to some places you've been to before, but you will meet new people there. So there are some opportunities for friendship. It's worth going to explore, but it is a semi-sextile, so there's some sort of force field on the door that you have to get past, and once you're out, things are good. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from that Uranus, which is in your house of creativity and self-expression, as well as the Saturn, which has now changed signs. So this is a real interesting mix because the Uranus is very established in Taurus. It's been there a while. It's going to be there for a while. And so there, in some ways, some of the money-making things you've been working on, you're just going to continue to do. But the Saturn's changed signs. And so now there's new ideas and new opportunities. And so this would be kind of like where you have maybe an established business or an established product, but you're changing it in some way. And so it reaches a new market. So things like, you have a restaurant, but now you also have a food truck, something like that. Or you were making something and now you find that thing has multiple uses, something like that. Or you're applying what you know in one area and now you can fit it to another group of people, and sell to them. So there's something new going on. The Saturn going through your house of communication and thinking process says pause for a moment, get the messages from the universe, make a note of those because those ideas could be very helpful in the future. Now, when it comes to money from your business or money from investments, the sun's making a semi-square to Uranus. Now, this is one of those challenging aspects that says that the reward is there, but you are so distracted and irritated, you're having trouble finding your way to it. And so that is, you say, okay, I'm going to process my orders, and you turn on the computer and you get a computer error. And so then you got to reboot, and now the printer won't print, and now you have to get ink for the printer. And so there's just a million of these little things. But if you can get through those, then you get the profits. It'll be the same with your investments. You can't get your broker on the phone, their website's down, you're not getting the information you need, but if you persevere, you can do quite well. So that is, and Capricorn, you tend to persevere. So I do see you making more money over the next 2 weeks, but it is because you persevered. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, so like a paycheck, Saturn's making a semi-sextile Pluto, and Mars is making a trine to Saturn. So that is a long way of saying this is a really good time to ask. So go to your supervisor, try to pin them down, talk to them about different opportunities. The semi-sextile, of course, says that they're busy, they don't have time to see you, but the trine says that once you get together, things can go very much in your favor. So it is really worth pursuing at this time. Okay, Aquarius, your new moon is in your house of communication, thinking process. It's also about neighbors, siblings, transportation. But I think the thinking process is really important. This is your third house. So this is new thoughts, new ideas right out of the blue. It never occurred to you before, and now you're getting these new ideas. This is about a new way of thinking about things. Maybe it's some sort of new system of thinking about things, or maybe this is a new type of meditation that you're doing, so you're getting new ideas. So this is also a new way of communicating with someone. Maybe that you are, communicating in a different language. Perhaps you are communicating with some new people, or you're just taking a different approach. Maybe you've been very, very direct in the past, and now you're going to be more diplomatic, or vice versa. So that's where your focus is. Now, Saturn is gone into Pisces, and now it's going to do a 3-year transit through your house of money. And this is, if you know some astrology, you're going to say, oh no, Saturn. But this is what I call the slow growth wealth aspect. So this means that over the course of this 3-year transit, you're going to work really hard at money, and you're going to gain some rewards. It may not feel like it, especially in the beginning. It may feel like you have less money than usual, that you have to keep better track of it, that you really have to work hard on it. Remember, the Saturn's kind of like the mountain climber. You're at the base of the mountain, you got this heavy pack on, you want to plant your flag at the top of the mountain, and you have this climb to do. And if your attitude is, this is a horrible thing, I hate climbing this mountain, it's going to be a terrible experience. But if you say, I can't wait to climb this mountain, I can't wait to learn how to handle money, I can't wait to learn how to create a business or passive income. And when this becomes something that you are focused on, that you want to become an expert at, that's where Saturn really can benefit you, where Saturn will bring rewards. So during this long transit that you're doing, expect there's going to be hard work. Expect that there's going to be obstacles. On the other side of those things are rewards. Now, also, Pluto is going to go into your own sign. It's going to transit through Aquarius over a 20-year period. Now, it's only going to be in Aquarius for a couple of months during 2023. And so you're going to get a little tiny taste of this. And when Pluto goes through your own sign, it's going to transform your life. I mean, go talk to your Capricorn friends, because they've just done the 20-year Capricorn transit, and ask them what changed in their life. The plus for you is You like change. You embrace change. Aquarius is about change. And so the fact that Pluto is going to come in and facilitate change, that can be so beneficial for you. Now, Pluto is going to cause you to look at the small decisions that you make, the small beliefs that you have, that the universe is a benefic place, or the universe is a hostile place, and cause you to transform those things so that you can live a better life. So that would probably be more beneficial and less hostile. So, of course, a 20-year transit means this is not all happening even this year. So this is a long process. So give yourself the time for this. But actively look at what you want to transform. Give the universe a hint about the goals and what you want to achieve over the next 20 years so that the universe can clear a path for you. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, Mercury is not making an aspect with Uranus. And so this just isn't really the focus. It's just not the focus. So there's a great deal of focus on thinking and ideas and visualization and home and family. You got focus on money, on yourself. So put the love stuff on the back burner for the next 2 weeks. Someone may try to fix you up with someone. You might meet someone in passing. Just try to do the date outside the 2-week period. So because your focus needs to be elsewhere. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, the sun's making a semi-square to Uranus. Now, what a semi-square is about is that you feel compelled to do something, but there are numerous obstacles, numerous distractions, things in your way. And so you are fighting your way through it. Now, this is not like a solid block, right? This is not like a door that's locked. This is a door where you have the key and you put the key somewhere. And so you're looking for the key and you do find the key, but then you remember that before you open the door, you need to call a friend about such and such. Like, it's that sort of energy. So when it comes to your love relationship, you might be thinking, oh, we really need to work on something, but laundry has to be done. The dog needs to go out. The kids are crying. Like, there's so many little distractions. If you can cut through those and, say, I want to sit down and talk about our future in the relationship or how we're communicating with each other, you can have some great benefits, but the distractions may be too much for that at this time, and then you just want to wait until this energy lines up in the future. Now, when it comes to friendships, Jupiter's making a semi-sextile to Uranus, so there is some opportunities, but the semi-sextile energy says that there's some small thing that you need to do to make something happen. And it makes sense because it's the only thing below or above the horizon in this chart is Pluto. Everything else is below the horizon, which means you're not visible. That is that, the people are there wanting to meet you, but you don't show up to the party. And it takes a little bit because of the semi-sextile to get to the party. And that is, it's not as bad as a semi-square. It's not like the key, etc. This is more just, say, okay, I'm going to go for 5 minutes. And you go for 5 minutes and it's so much fun, you stay for 2 hours. And that's how you meet some friends. So this is, it's more of a mental shift that you have to make this time. And then you could meet a new friend. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from that Neptune, which is in your money house, as well as your Jupiter in your house of communication. Now, that Neptune is very helpful for making money when you do the spiritual side. And that is, look at what your attitudes about money are. How do you feel about money? Do you not like people who have money? Do you feel that you have to do unsavory things to get money, and shift that thinking. This is also about doing spiritual things like feng shui or meditation, visualization, to put yourself in the mindset of receiving. So looking at those things could stimulate your path to making more money. Now, when it comes to money derived from career or money from your business, Mercury is not making an aspect with Neptune right now. So this energy will line up in the future, but right now it looks like you're making about the same as usual, or if you're making a little less, it's because you're investing in your business. Because Saturn has gone into that house, you might think, oh, you know what, I need professional tools, I need a better computer. You may be very focused on bringing your game up, and that could mean more education, getting a mentor. So there may be some outgo because of that, and that's all an investment in your future, and that could be reaped later. But that's why I see you making about the same as usual, or perhaps a little bit less because you are, spending money on the business. And then when it comes to money derived from career, so like a paycheck, Neptune is not making an aspect with Jupiter. Right now, this energy is a little disconnected, and so this is not a great time to be asking for a raise. Jupiter will line up later this year. There is going to be an opportunity, so don't despair right now, though. This is a time to think about other things that you can do, outside sources of money. I just watched a video, and he said, that you should have five different hobbies or interests, and one of them was find a hobby that makes you money. And so that's what I would suggest here, is to look at your other money-making sources or your hobbies and see what you can make money from. Okay, Pisces, you guys are doing this new moon and all of this new energy in your house of money. So this could lead to a new source of money for you, some sort of windfall, money coming to you from a surprising source. This is also your house of self-worth. This is the second house. And so your sense of self-worth, your self-esteem, your ideas about your deservingness do affect money flow. And so this is your time to look at this in a whole new way, to let go of this negative thinking from the past and embrace something brand new, which is that you deserve to have resources, you deserve to have money, that you are opening your arms to receive. So I was just talking to a client about this, and I said, do the gesture every morning, open your arms really wide and say, I'm open to receive. So this is what I would recommend for you as well, to actually couple it with a physical action, so that you are having this kind of spiritual experience with a physical action to make this mental shift. Now, because this is a time of seed planting, you want to plant a lot of seeds for making money in different ways. And so trying out new things, getting new ideas, talking to people about different ways of making money, this is all good for this time. We'll talk more about your money in a moment. Now, Saturn has started its 3-year transit through Pisces. And so this is your time for bringing up your game. Saturn is, Saturn's a taskmaster. Saturn says, work hard and I will bring you rewards. But the rewards are substantial. Saturn says, first, become the expert and the authority of your life. Be the person that you want to be. And that is raise the bar. What are your standards? Raise those up, meet those. And so the Saturn says, go, if you're not confident about something, go learn how to do it. And then you can be the authority of it. Or if you are the authority, stop waiting and announce that you are the authority. So this Saturn is a long transit. So it is going to give you kind of a little obstacle course. And, I know an obstacle course sounds like there's obstacles in it, but an obstacle course is something that people do so they get stronger, So, and it's a variety of things. You have to climb that little wall, and then you swing on the rope, and then you climb over the tires or through the tires, so there's a lot of different things that you are going to be challenged with. And these could be opportunities maybe to speak in public, to start a business, to collaborate with someone, to take a job that you don't know if you can do. There's going to be opportunity after opportunity. So that's why Saturn is a good thing to have in your own sign. And now that it's here, you have to embrace it, because this is your opportunity to become the person that you want to be. And yes, we do that through hard work, but it does bring rewards. Now, Pluto is going to go into Aquarius for a few months and then pop back into Capricorn. When it's in Aquarius and when it gets established there, it's going to take 20 years to go through Aquarius. And this is your house of intuition, spirituality, looking at your shadow self, looking at, what you want to connect with on a deeper level, the parts of you. And also as well as connecting to the universe. So because this is such a long transit, it's going to take years to explore all of the different permutations of this. But when it pops into Aquarius this year, and in a couple of days, so you may get an extra interest in some of these things. 12th house also rules film, theater, this idea of transforming yourself, kind of like a shapeshifter sort of energy. Lots of these different ideas will come in, and so you'll get to explore these. And in the process, you are becoming empowered. And that's what's going to transpire over this 20-year process. And whether it takes the full 20 years or you do it sooner, that one's up to you. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, the moon's making a conjunction to Neptune. Now, it's an out-of-sign conjunction, which means that it's not obvious. There is new love there, but the person's not who you were expecting them to be, or you're not finding them where you expected. So it's just about being open to the possibilities of meeting someone, maybe at the post office, maybe you never meet someone at the gym, but now you could. So maybe it's your next door neighbor, surprise. Or maybe there's something different about the person that you thought, no, I wouldn't see myself with that type of person, or a person from this place or something. And then that all changes. So there is an opportunity here. Conjunction's very nice, but it's out of signs. You have to look a little bit harder to find it. Now, when it comes to your existing love relationship, Mercury's not making an aspect with Neptune, so everything's just kind of rolling along as usual. There's a great deal of focus. In fact, like all your planets except for 2 are in your first quadrant. And by the way, I did a video on the quadrants, or 4 videos on the quadrants, and there is a playlist on that on my channel. So if you want to learn more about the quadrants, but I will tell you right now, the first quadrant is about self-care. That's what you should be focused on right now. It's how to take care of yourself. What do you need to be healthy, happy, to have good thoughts, to, be open to receive. So this is the focus. So that's why when it comes to your existing love relationship, you're working on your stuff and they're working on their stuff. Now, when it comes to friendships, Saturn's making a semi-sextile to Neptune. So there is an opportunity here to meet someone new for a friendship. The semi-sextile says that there's some sort of small impediment to this process. It's a little easy to get distracted and not go to the party, or that you're just staying at home. Like I said, most of your planets are, I said they were in the first quadrant. They're also, most of them are below the horizon too, which means you're not so visible right now. So that is that you need to go to the party and say, I'm here, and that's how to be visible when the chart says you're not. So you have an opportunity to meet someone new, but you have to get to the party. Now, when it comes to your money, we've already been talking about the fact that you have Sun, Moon, Mercury, Chiron, Jupiter in your house of money. That potentially is multiple sources of money, multiple seeds you can plant, many opportunities. Plus, you're pulling money from that Mars, which is now going to change signs as well. So there is so much new energy here. So it's time to stop thinking about the old ways of making money and start looking at the new ways. Of course, there's probably 1 million videos on this on YouTube. Look at videos on how to make money in 2023, how to make money with all this new AI stuff, how to make money from home, how to make money with a particular talent that you have. So look at those sort of things, get the information. This is a seed planting time. You can't see yet what's going to sprout. You have to just plant seeds and tend those seeds and see what does sprout. So, but with this Mars changing signs, something new is happening. Now, when it comes to money derived from your investments or your business, you've got actually, it looks like more outgo than income going on, because there's no aspect between Venus and Mars. And it's possible that right now you're just very focused on investing in your business. So perhaps you're building a website and that's costing money, or you're buying the tools that you need. Maybe you're just looking for investments to buy, but not profits to take. So I see you really, again, there's so many seeds here, but they haven't quite sprouted yet. So that is, I see you not necessarily that you're making less money, but the money that's coming in is going out again so that you can build your business. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, so that is like a paycheck. Now we have Mars making a trine to Saturn. This is one of your best opportunities to ask for a raise, etc. Now, it is an out-of-sign trine, which means that you're going to have to hunt down your boss to say, let's sit down and talk about this. Your boss may say, this isn't the time of year that we do this. And you have to say, well, this is why it's going to work now. There's something that is not as obvious, but with a little bit of thinking, you can make it happen. Maybe this has a promotion attached to it, or you take on some different duties. Maybe your boss is just hard to find. Maybe they're on vacation. And so you have to say, I know you're on vacation, but can we just plant the seed to talk about this when you get back? But this is good energy. So you want to, if you've been thinking about asking for a raise, this is the time to do it. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe and stay tuned, because LaRue wants to say hi.